influential man of his time, William Shakespeare.
Nice to meet you. I'm William Shakespeare.
Mr. Shakespeare, can you tell me why you decided to condense the entire script into a period that only covers 4 days? How does this help convey the theme?
The theme of Romeo and Juliet was love at first sight. To properly show this case, I have made the entire story into a 4-day span, thus putting emphasis on their underlying love.
Mr. Shakespeare, what do you feel was the biggest difference between your character Tybalt and the author's, Mr. Brooks Tybalt? Why did you decide to change him from earlier interpretation?
Tybalt in my story was portrayed as an arrogant, confident youth. Brooks Tybalt had a harsh demeanor that didn't tie in well to the love story. Thus, I decided to change Tybalt to fit accordingly to my version of Romeo and Juliet.
Mr. Shakespeare, can you tell me why you decided to cut out a large part of the violence in the fight between Romeo and Tybalt?
The fighting in Brooks' version was more violent, and I wanted to focus more on the love part of the story.
Mr. Shakespeare, could you describe one scene in the poem that you decided to keep in and why you chose to do so?
I kept the part of Brooks' poem where Romeo tries to stop the fighting. This I did to illustrate Romeo's personality as a young lover who doth care of fighting, but only of loving. He beths a carefree soul who only dreamt of Juliet.
Mr. Shakespeare, why did you decide to add in the character of Mercutio?
Mercutio created a depth to the story that was much necessarily needed. Instead of making vague characters, I made one main character. There needed to be another personality that matched up to Tybalt's.
Mr. Shakespeare, what were the differences between Romeus in your version and in Brooks' version?
Romeo in Brooks' version let his anger get the best of him when he raged at Tybalt. I wanted Romeo to be more romantic, so I made him less angry.
Thank you for this interview. It's been great.